So I just want to point out a couple articles. Here was another murder case, right? Capulin man accused of killing his wife is arrested. So again, Priscilla Wagner. Priscilla Wagner she covers all of these bloody cases. You would think they would have somebody else that could, type some words up about the damn thing. Capulin resident David O'Brien, 50 years old, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. So you could take a look at that. That happened October 8th, 2024. And so that's, in addition to that, Larry Chavez, and then was it the Henry Corral? So you have, I want to say those are the names, right? Larry Chavez and Henry Corral. If it's not Henry Corral, then it's someone else. Definitely Larry Chavez. And I'm not for sure it's Corral, but here's Corral scheduled for his first appearance in court in January. So just Corral will definitely. Man found dead in Antonito from possible dog attack. Now this just happened 4 months ago. Now I want to just point out a couple things. Very enticing headline, right? Rob Lowe, CBI Strategic Communications Director. So they're just taken straight from the mouth of the authorities, right? The authorities wrote this up, and then they just posted it on the media. Did you want to sort of parse through the details, yourself? And so what they're saying here is that they found a 57-year-old man, but it doesn't seem like that they say who the man was. They say that the man was a victim, and, Franklin Baca. What bothers me about this is that they say that there's lacerations from possible dog bites that were observed on his body. Well, if he's, has a heart attack and he falls over and he dies, it's possible that a dog could be chewing on a corpse, okay? You want dogs, when they found that devil in the Ozarks, right? The devil in the Ozarks was running around Arkansas or wherever, Missouri, and he's out in the damn field. So the dog had sniffed. They also have attack dogs. It's interesting when the police have a dog, they're all right with dogs attacking and biting, and search and find is a good one for dogs. But there's another case I want to point out after this, but I just want to, for Franklin Baca, he had his own, right, a Labrador mix. Now, you wouldn't think your own dog would, bite you. You would like to think that. And then they're also doing a swab of the neighbor's pit bull. Was the pit bull around? Was the pit bull around the body? They don't say whether or not. There's also a possibility that the victim suffered a medical episode, prior to being attacked, or if the injuries were solely the result of an animal attack. So the animal attacked. If an animal finds, a dead raccoon and, bites into it, is that an attack? If you take a bite of a hamburger, did you just attack that cow? The cow was slaughtered at the slaughtering house. You taking a bite of the hamburger, I guess you're somewhat culpable, but it's different, isn't it? That's different. If the dog calls the damn thing, then you're going to need some witnesses, and you'll need some witnesses if the dog had caused the thing. But if he has a Labrador mix, he has a dog with him, he's got a dog with him, then the dog would have protected him. The dog and that other dog would have got into a fight. And then the pit bull, did they observe the pit bull by the body? Also, does the pit bull run out free? Does the pit bull run out freely? RIP to this Franklin Baca. It's terrible to hear about anybody dying. It just reminds me of a different case where they had found in Costilla County. They just found, a corpse in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, and they said it had to do with a domesticated dog. Okay, a domesticated dog, just by definition, isn't attacking people, because if it's attacking people, it's not domesticated, right? And so here's, I don't know, I'm going to click on this one because I'm tired of the Conejos County Citizen. I thought they were going out of business, and now they're still here. So here's this guy. They said eventually, the autopsy results, the body was found January, right? And then it says that the Sangre de Cristo Ranches has a history of domestic dogs running loose. So now everybody's going to be freaking out about people's domestic dogs. Dogs are angels. Dogs are especially angels to their owners and to their masters. Now, a dog does show bravery in front of their master's house to everybody else, so there is, that to watch out for. Dogs are territorial, but dogs don't just attack for no damn reason. So, what I'm trying to say here in this, thing, so let's just take a look at some of the details. 68-year-old Costilla County resident Cindy Denholm, RIP to Cindy Denholm. Now, they said, they announced the results, and they said that the Denholm died as a result of multiple injuries from an animal attack, consistent with the canine. Now, how could you possibly figure that out? How could you possibly figure that out? Let's presume something different. Let's just offer a counter narrative. Okay, let's say that the Franklin Baca and Cindy Denholm, they're older people, right? 68 years old. The other one was 70-something years old. Let's say they had a heart attack. They had a heart attack, they're out in the sun, they're walking, all this strenuous, stress, sweating, and exposure, and they had a heart attack. They have a heart attack, and then they fall over and they die. Okay, so now that the corpse is lying there, how long was, she out there in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains before anybody discovered her? Like, I want to say that it was almost like people didn't even know she was gone. And so if you died of a heart attack and you just fall down, dead right there on the ground, to pretend that some dog isn't going to come around, you're going to have worms too, you're going to have flies. Did you see any injuries from the flies? Maybe she was attacked by, a swarm of flies. And so, to be able to know the cause and effect, what caused the thing and what ultimately ended the thing, I don't think that's crystal clear. If they're domesticated, then they're not going to be attacking anybody. Now, you do have wild dogs, and if there are domesticated, so-called domesticated dogs running out in the damn mountains, then they might not be domesticated. I used to call them all coyotes, but what I meant by coyotes was essentially not wolves, but just dogs that were maybe loved or not loved, but they're dropped off, and so they're just wild dogs. What I call coyotes might just be wild dogs. I guess I could take a look at that. Are coyotes like their own breed? Are coyotes different from wild dogs? So, yes, coyote and wild dogs, specifically African wild dogs, are different species, even though they both belong to the canid family. Okay, I didn't know that. They were talking about African wild dogs. I wasn't asking about African wild dogs. They're known for their adaptability to various habitats. Let's just look up coyotes. So, coyotes is, that's what a coyote looks like, right? Coyotes just seem like they have that... I don't even know. They seem like they're a specific breed of dog, right? Canis latrans, the American jackal, the prairie wolf, or the brush wolf. The reason why I'm going to just sort of, it's smaller than its close relative, the gray wolf, okay? So they're actually very similar. But there was the Jungle Book. The Jungle Book had said that there was this, like, pharrell. Wild dogs, coyotes, just make this, terrible sound. A wolf has that proud, sort of howl, that sad, very melancholic wolf howl. Whereas a coyote, especially wild dogs, especially desperate wild dogs, where they have that pharrell, where they sound like laughing hyenas, just like this hideous shriek of, man, we're starving, we're hungry, and we're capable of doing anything. Well, that's not domesticated dogs. Those are wild dogs that's been running around in the damn mountains for a while. They got, wild horses. There's wild... It's a desert, too, so really there's not only horses, but there's wildcats, too. There's So to just sit there and be like, some of them which have been feral, that could be possible. Maybe at one point in time they were at a house, but then they started, they ran out and they got with a clique, right? They got with a bad group of people. But they said the evidence points towards domesticated dogs. I'm going to offer the alternative, narrative of a heart attack, because how can you tell the difference? How can you tell the difference? You have a heart attack, you fall down dead, and then a dog comes up to your corpse later on and starts pecking at you and chewing at you. If they're hungry, even that Labrador mix, a lot of times the dogs won't eat their owners or bite their face off or eat their face off. But if you have a cat or a dog inside your house for like a week or two, and they're starving and they're hungry, they'll ultimately will, eat on you. And does that mean they caused it? That doesn't mean that they caused it. You eat a hamburger, that doesn't mean you caused it. I mean, I guess in terms of the industry, they wouldn't slaughter damn cows if you're not eating hamburgers. But if she fell down and of a heart attack, and you came by and you said, "Well, it looks like dogs have been eating at her," well, do you see tears at her neck? Do you see like how can a tear at the neck would say something, right? They like to go for the throat. They like to rip out a throat. But if they're eating like this, just the whole body's being eaten, if they're eating the legs and the arms and the heads and shit. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they were attacked and killed by the dog. I just want to defend the dogs a little bit. They don't really have anybody to defend them. They're angels. They're man's best friend. And, I wish people would respect dogs. You would think that in this area, the Costilla County, area, that you would have more Native American culture. Native American culture, the Native Americans have been with dogs, the whole time. Native Americans have been in the Americas for 14,000 years, and dogs have been with them almost the same distance. Dogs have been with man for at least 10,000 years. There was that green. They buried them, the Cherokee. They buried some dogs with the Cherokee at the Green something mound in Kentucky. So there was, let's see, let's get this Cindy Denholm, because what I want to ask now is just how long was she, lying there for? How long was she lying there for? You have all these March, articles. Do we have any articles that are from January? So one killed in possible animal attack. So let's see if we have any other articles. I'm glad people are writing about it, because I noticed that people had suspected it. Here's a March article, and then people were still saying, "Hey, did you get any updates? What happened to that?" Let's check one more. Let's see, okay, March, April. All right, so let's just read a couple more articles here. Sheriff's Office, one killed, possible animal attack. The victim was 68-year-old Cindy Denholm. Autopsy is set to be completed on Tuesday. May have been an animal attack. So they said it's possibly an animal attack. Didn't they find a dead body in San Luis? Like a guy just died on a bridge, just froze to death. So the people of San Luis are not like good Christians. They don't, give food out, and they don't care about life. They don't care to give water and food and shelter out to people, right? They don't love the foreigner. They hate the foreigner. They don't want anybody moving into, breaking their little way of life up. They know the three people that they know. That's why it's a ghost town. That's why people are, leaving. That's why people charge way too much damn money there. It's so hard to get there and to think, well, I mean, people are leaving, right? So let's keep going. Sheriff's Office says they're waiting for the official calls. We're unable to verify what type of animal may be responsible for the attack. How do you know it was an attack? How do you know it was an attack? They're not saying how long she had been laying there. Domesticated dogs. She was found dead with bite wounds January 23rd. How long had she been lying there? And this article doesn't say how long she had been lying there. So, you know what? I'm going to presume she'd been lying there for a month or two. How long was that? There's just a dead body in San Luis. What happened to this man? Just a dead man found in San Luis. Body of identified, that just happened this last year, November 26th, right around Christmas time. They said it was a Hispanic male, 30 to 40 years of age. And then the body must have, Sanchez had said something. It was by the Stations of the Cross, right? So isn't that interesting? Right by this Christian, little monument. You're going to die by a Christian monument. I mean, that's almost as bad as just walking into the church and just, dying of starvation right there. Let's see. A tourist had spotted the lifeless body of a man under the bridge, crosses the Rito Seco Creek, the intersection of 142 and 159. And there is something here that Sanchez estimates that the body must have been what? I think he's going to say that the body had been there for quite some time, right? So maybe we'll type in Danny Sanchez and see if that pops up anything else. But they don't care about life there. You know, it's weird that you have Christians that are pro-life when they actually don't really care much about life at all. Let's see. Body of identified man. Read the full article. It's just going to take me back to that same article. How come we don't have more people type in articles? Oh, okay. Here's a little bit more. The body must have been there for a few days, but with the cold water, the body freezes up and stays that way. Well, there's rigor mortis as well, too. We think it's an unattended death due to the weather. I mean, you found her in January. It's still cold in January up in the mountains. And why would this elderly lady be up in the mountains? So I just want to push back on this narrative. Oh, okay, you know, it's totally possible that a wild dog or coyote had, you know, and typically, actually, here's another statistic. You know, I can conceive of a dog attacking somebody, but there's a statistic, and they actually came at the very end of White Fang, the movie The White Fang. They had said that typically, even wolves don't attack people. The only way a wolf will ever attack a person is if they're cornered or they're starving. If they had been starving for months, and even then they might not even attack a person. But typically, dogs don't attack people. They don't attack people unless you've got them cornered. Unless you're attacking them, they're cornered. You're attacking them maybe to protect their young. Maybe if you're doing something with their young, it would have to be drastic situation. It would have to be, exigent circumstances. It would have to be extreme circumstances for an attack to have happened. And then, just offhand, if you're an elderly lady walking around the mountains, carry a stick, carry a rock, just in case something like that happens. Or a gun. A gun would have been, a sword or a knife or something. Make sure you do protect yourself. It's not just, I trust animals. It's really man that I can't trust. I trust animals. I trust dogs way more than I trust just Americans in general. So, yeah, I just want to push back on that narrative. And they just, the lab came back. Dog did it. Domesticated dog. It was actually Jerry Adler's. That damn asshole over there. He has his dog, cops, they'll have a dog at sick people, but they hate other people's dogs. Cops are notorious for shooting people's dogs. Why? Because the dogs are being protective. And, so, yeah, I just feel like they just immediately came to a conclusion. Dog did it. Oh, yeah, bullshit. Why don't you give me some fucking evidence? We think a dog did it because only the throat was tore. Only the throat was tore and nothing else. And if it looks like the body had been eaten up, then maybe they even ate part of the throat, So I can't see how you could tell whether or not they had initially died of the attack or not. People die of old age, pneumonia, COVID. I hear there's 300 people still dying of COVID every week. So